Hello, hello. Welcome. Okay. I see the light. Thank you for joining me. It's been a busy week. Hope you guys are having a great start to your week. It never seems to stop. The questions, the new users asking me about lymphatic drainage. What is the best setting? What is the best move? And there's a lot of different lymphatic issues, quite honestly, out there, and really depending on, your own lymphatic system, what you may be dealing with. Everybody is starting a different place of fitness, overall health, and most commonly you're usually not just dealing with one thing. So maybe you've got lymphedema, but maybe you've also got MS or fibromyalgia or Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. So there's a lot of synergies between common symptoms, and a sluggish or a poor lymphatic system is probably still one of the top reasons people are seeking vibration plates. I'm just going to share this out. We are going to go over some tools to combine with your vibration plate. I will speak briefly about the benefits, of course, of using a vibration plate. If I had to pick one tool for lymphatic self-care, improving the lymphatic system, whatever your goal is defined as, a vibration plate gives you the benefit of both easy lymphatic and circulation, like turbo boost of lymphatic and circulation movement. But you can also benefit from exercise gains if you choose it. A vibration plate is simply an environment that makes exercises more effective, but passively, for those of you that are unable to perhaps be active through traditional means. Maybe you struggle with mobility, balance isn't there. Maybe you suffer from fatigue. Maybe you're recovering from something. A vibration plate can help move your body when you can't move it yourself, or when you lack the ability to do that. So there's lots of different reasons to consider using a vibration plate. I am going to ask someone to jump into comments here. Hello, Adriana. Hello, Lauren. Nice to see you again. I'm assuming you guys can see and hear me okay, or somebody would be telling me otherwise. If you can see and hear me okay, I'm going to get to my ramblings after I have a slurp of coffee. So a couple things going down here today. There is no possible way over the years Lifepro's lineup of self-care tools has gotten bigger and bigger. And, self-care for many of you, whether it's something you are just beginning your journey on, or something you've been doing for quite some time, self-care, I'm going to say it could be a total drag. It's, like this thing you have to do all the time. And we should all be doing self-care. We should be active. We should be doing things that make us feel good about ourselves, our physical and mental health, good nutrition. But many of you are dealing with issues, and today with things like lymphedema, lipedema, Durkheim's disease. I always got to put my plugs out. Regardless of what the label may be on your head, what the diagnosis is, increasing lymph movement is a good thing for most things. And if you're dealing with health issues right now, be that short term or something long term or chronic that you're dealing with, it's pretty rare that a doctor or a physical therapist will say, I don't want you being active. I don't want you moving. Unless there's something severe, unique to your situation. So let's start with the very simple knowledge that a vibration plate moves. And when you move, lymph moves. So the easiest way to gain lymphatic movement through using your vibration plate to start with, I got a few other little tools we're going to talk about today. is just to start using it. I went for a little bit of a rant yesterday in some of my personal lives on YouTube about, don't be fearful. You don't have to know it all. You don't have to have the whole exact program, but you do need to try it, and you need to start playing around with it before you're even going to experience any kind of benefit. So the sooner you start using and experimenting with your vibration plate, the sooner you're going to start moving lymph, the sooner you're going to start boosting circulation and energy and balance. There's a whole lineup of perpetual or ongoing benefits. Okay, so we're good. I just want to make sure that you guys were hearing me. I saw a couple more comments. If you have a question for me today, or if you'd like to make a comment, make sure that you're coming to me and you're watching directly on the Lifepro main page, not commenting in one of the shares that I may have done in one of the private groups. The only comments I'll get through are going to come through the main Lifepro page. So make sure that you hop over there if you do want to make a comment. So we're going to start with some seeded stuff today. And for those of you that are using vibration plates for the first time, or maybe you are using red light for the first time, or maybe you are using a massage gun for the first time, whatever therapy it is that you're using to increase and improve your lymphatics, I want you to give it an individual chance on its own. So if you've never used a vibration plate and you've bought one recently, and there happened to be a really good sale, so you bought 10 other things, don't throw everything all into the mix right off the bat. If you're dealing with severe issues, for sure, lots of swelling, pain, I want you to ease into each of the therapies, and I want you to just try them out individually on your own. See what settings you like, what feels good to you, build up some tolerance. And just like if you were taking a new medication, give it 30 days before you start incorporating other things. So any one therapy that you do start, if you're dealing with medical issues, symptoms of any kind, give your body a chance to become accustomed to each individual therapy on their own. That's tip number one. Which individual therapies we're going to break down a little bit today, but it really does depend on you, your plans for use, and just, be realistic with yourself in what you actually can see yourself using. It doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what Lifepro thinks. It's, pick something that realistically you know that you can incorporate into your life, making that whole self-care bubble more manageable. And if you can make it more manageable and easy to perform, it gets into the biggest thing that you can do to improve your lymphatics, which is be consistent with your exercise and your therapies. So starting seated, my feet are positioned about hip width apart. If you've never watched one of my rambles, wide is max impact, most movement. Close is less, reduces amount of movement and impact. Start yourself about hip width apart. If at any time anything doesn't feel good, because it may change depending on the position that you're doing, bring the feet closer, or if you want more action, bring them wider. Wider is not necessarily more action or more benefit for everyone. It really depends on your tolerance. And if you're dealing with inflammation, which many in this community are, arthritic joints, recent surgery, those types of things, reduce intensity for a period of time. To complement that, I want you getting out of the slow speeds. So I'm working on my Rumblex Plus 4D today. I'm going to bring it up to about speed 20 of 60. So I'm about a third of the way up. What you'll find in oscillating movement, oscillating is the primary movement, the main movement. It's going to be better for lymph for a couple of reasons. Variable and larger amplitude, meaning the amount that it's moving you is more than other movement styles. Vertical, lateral is fixed. So you are always in control in how far the muscles are moving and contracting. When your muscles are contracting, they're moving and pumping that lymphatic fluid. They're pushing circulation. So the first exercise we're going to do, and other things to be mindful of in the world of lymphatics, is, good controlled diaphragmatic breathing. Everybody says, engage the diaphragm, feel the diaphragm. Well, you can't see the diaphragm, But let's make it simple. Good posture. Make those breaths really deep, rhythmic, and controlled. And what we're going to do to start things moving, the more you do while you're, if the plate is moving you, you are getting some basic circulation and lymph. But one of the areas that's really of particular concern, especially for ladies, but for lymphatics in general, is the calf muscles. You know, they're always downhill. They're doing a lot of the work, and in the lymphatic community, they're sometimes considered your second heart for the lymphatic system. So we're going to start with some little calf pumps, calf raises and stretches, whatever you want to call it. We're going to go up on the toes. We're going to come back down and lift up the toes. You can see in the mirror. If you like, time this with your breathing. So we're going to inhale, exhale. Push it all the way out. Inhale. Exhale. Whatever order feels good to you. Slow, controlled, good posture. It's a great warm-up, gets things flowing. That rhythmic breathing, that deep breathing creates more pressure, enhancing lymphatic flow. Okay? So if you're coordinated enough, as I said, the more that you can add to the equation, and this is just a seated warm-up. Many of you may struggle to stand for long durations due to fatigue, weakness, pain, severe symptoms, you name them. Maybe you're fearful. Maybe you're not supposed to be bearing weight yet. So there's lots of different reasons to be seated. Look up seated lymphatic exercises. You'll be Googling all day. So I want to add a little bit of passive upper body movement. We're going to stop the movement on the feet just to introduce this add-on. If you've seen any of my seated sessions, you've seen this before. The mildest way of doing this, we're going to lock the elbows, and we're going to just place the palms of the hands and lean forward and add a little bit of weight and rest on the palms of the hands on the knees. Now they become a part of the movement. The resonance of that vibration is being connected by our hands in position on top of those knees. If at this point it's sensitive, you got head vibe you don't like, you got risk in those areas that you need to be adhering to, reduce intensity, bring your feet closer if you're not liking how it feels by adding the upper body. It's not about not doing it. It's not about not speeding it, slowing it down. Sometimes it's a matter of just modifying what you're doing. And bringing those feet closer and reducing the amount of impact is always the first adjustment to try. So if that's feeling okay, and it's okay, Deb, but I can take a lot more. Many in my lymphatic disorders community have good tolerance. That's one thing I will give you. So let's try a little further. If range of motion allows, we're going to lean forward and we're going to put the elbows on the top of the knees. Just hold your hands out in front of you. Nice straight spine. You're going to feel a little bit more deeply, kind of in between the shoulder blades, the nape of the neck, the top of the shoulders. And now that you are in this position, depending on how you feel, if you want more intensity, just move your feet a half an inch, maybe an inch at a time, and just play with the distance, the heel being the point of contact. If you have good days and bad days, like many of you do, sometimes you might need to start with less intensity. And as you loosen up and start feeling better, you can take on more. But you're always in control with oscillating, which is one of the advantages. But it does take a little bit of experimenting to remember that lesson. So now that we are sitting here, you can add any variations that you like. All you're doing is getting the stimulus, that resonance from the movement of the plate up into the shoulders, the neck. You could do some shoulder rolls, maybe some neck turns, maybe some seated cat-cows. Stay curious. I want you to experiment. You know where it hurts. You know where the swelling is pooling. You know where the deficiencies are. I just want to show you ways to get the stimulation going there at a comfortable level. There is no perfect number. That study doesn't exist. It's marketing. And your own tolerance is going to vary based on the exercise and how you're feeling at the time with your symptoms, your self-care, all of that. So I've rambled 10 minutes. I'm going to bring it back up to my speed 20. We're going to progress. We're going to do one more seated exercise. For those of you that are unable to join me, perhaps you're unable to bear weight, I just want to remind you it is easy to overdo it. If you're just starting out, 3 to 5 minutes, more often, even 2 to 3 minutes. It's always better if the goal is strictly lymphatics and you're trying to get that under control first, improving before you get to more elaborate things. Use it often as symptoms present, but keep it brief. 3 to 4, 5, 10 times a day, 2 to 3 minutes. And through that burst of use, you're going to boost your energy, you're going to boost your balance, circulation, the lymph, of course, your mood. There's going to be a lot of benefits that will help you build and progress to the exercise and longer durations and other things when you feel ready to progress. So the very last variation I want to show you is, if you're only able to use your plate seated, there's lots of ways that you can start combining your other therapies. So for my experienced users over here, I haven't set it up because it was really blinding me in the last session and it was kind of distracting. I'm going to start with red light. So red light is another fantastic way to boost lymphatics. A lot of red light devices and infrared devices available with Lifepro are combo. So there's infrared and red light. This panel is what I would call a set it, forget it, hands-free red light tool versus, let's say, the belt, which is what I consider a wearable. So sometimes when you're trying to decide on, okay, now I know I love my plate, I'm using it, I want to add something else to start, targeting symptoms differently. Maybe you've got a pain spot, it may have nothing to do with your lymphatics. It could be some old injury. But by combining and adding other therapies during, before, after, that's another whole conversation. There's lots of ways that you can enhance not only your symptom management, the feel-good stuff, but enhance those fitness results. So a wearable, has its place. You can wear it around your waist when you're doing your vibration exercise, whether you've got a corded version or not. You could use it as a recovery after the fact. The panels are simply a way. I like to set it and forget it because, sometimes I'm moving around and I'm doing different things. So when I'm doing my vibration plate workout, I actually prefer using a panel, one of the bulbs, and I'm casting. Some of the new lamps are really awesome. I'm casting the light upon myself and I'm in my own little zone. But I do like using the belt. Like I'm 5 sessions in a row this week. My back tells me I have been showing off that power stone. So, I might want, maybe I'm just working on my low back. This is great if you're doing exercises where maybe you're targeting a specific body part. But wearables are a fun way to incorporate therapies to your vibration plate session. Why would you want to do that? For me, a lot of it is just, I want to reduce time. Maybe your symptoms are severe and you want to get results faster or more of them in a short time frame. Maybe you just want to mix it up. Maybe you got other things to do. You got a meeting tonight or something's going on at the school, but you still want to get your red light and your vibration plate. Maybe you prefer more self-care time. Maybe you put away an hour or two and you like doing them as individual therapies. There's no right or wrong order to this, but you can use some of these technologies as a warm-up, as a recovery, or just to gain more benefits, boost more lymph, boost more circulation while you're using your vibration plate. If you're using a vibration plate as a service, you're offering it in a business, I think you would lean towards something more like a panel, a bulb, where you can simply, have it as part of your station, and you're not, from a cleanliness standpoint, having to change a wearable. All of Lifepro's devices do zip out. There's a cover, so you can wash the neoprene and everything, and the lights come out separately. But if you're a busy place, you're either going to need multiple belts, which is okay too, or you're going to need some mechanism, maybe some saran wrap or something around them to minimize the cleaning between clients. So that's sometimes where the panel comes in. And it, again, depends on the application that you're doing. The belts are really nice, as are the panels if you're doing other treatments, wraps, where they're laying on a table, you're incorporating some massage, some, manual drainage, all that kind of stuff. So the other one I wanted to show you before I stand, and this is an ideal thing to do as a warm-up. Maybe you've got a bad knee, or you got some bad pockets behind the knees, or you just got soreness because you did too much in the kitchen this morning. And I'm going to take this opportunity to show the new Spinergy massage gun as well. I know many of you have been looking at that. I will get to questions here when I'm done my ramble. This is it packs a punch as far as it's not too light, it's not too heavy. I have itty bitty little hands. My kids always tease me, and it's got a really different shaped grip. So it's quite comfortable ergonomically, if that's the word. And there's 4 different tips that pop on and off with this quite easily. Now, this is a rotating massage head. And one of the things that I've always found with my lymphatic community, especially those of you dealing with the lymphedema, lipedema, the Durkheim's, is you bruise very easily. And there's this mentality with massage guns that you need to drill it into your skin and push so hard that you're black and blue tomorrow morning. And you just suck it up thinking this is something that you need to endure. No, not the case at all. If you're using a traditional striking, let's say, style, a vertical style massage gun, I recommend going with a faster speed and just allowing it skim the surface, those lymphatic vessels that are just below the skin surface, and work it very mildly until you develop tolerance. Use more speed, less pressure. And just by hanging on to a massage gun of any variety, if you are dealing with lymphatic issues, pain, symptoms of any kind in the hand, grip strength issues, the resonance of the vibration just from hanging on to the gun is going to boost the hands in a number of different ways. So let me get up close so you can see this in action. And then I'm going to show you how to incorporate it in a seated position on the machine. So there's just one control on the back here. There's a power button. And I want you to look very closely. See how it's spinning? Now, I had an awesome question this morning. Someone asked me, is it just spinning around in a circle? And no, it's kind of spinning this way, then that way. It's moving in both a clockwise and counterclockwise motion. It's not just spinning circular. And that is an important, when you dig into lymphatic health, I think that's going to mean something to a few of you. So you will see that as far as striking my skin, it's not. It's ever so gentle. And at the same time, I feel like unlike the strike, I always use the round rubber ball. That's my favorite on my regular massage guns. But I'm covering so much more skin surface. The entire head tip is covering 2 to 3 inches, versus if there's just a small strike point, it may take you a little bit longer to do those lymphatic movements. For those of you that are dealing with, lymphomas and things, scar tissue, things under the skin, I think you're going to find this is a game changer in the world of massage, certainly for lymphatics. And the tolerance for this type of a device is going to change for so many of you. So that's in action. I like cranking it up a bit. So for those of you that are dealing with I can't stand issues, okay, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to crank it back up to my 20, maybe a little stronger at this point, maybe 25. And, you can work the legs while you're sitting, whatever massage gun you may have. Maybe you've got a roller. Maybe you're using dry brushing. By adding the self-care, you got to do, maybe you're doing lymphatic prep work. There's a lot of prep is a good idea. For those of you that are not doing lymphatic prep, you could use this as prep. It just simply is a great idea to get the lymphatics moving, especially if they've been compromised. The vibration plate gives you this surge rush of circulation and lymphatic fluid. So you want to make sure that your body is prepared. That's why I always caution about time and intensity. Be conservative. Short sessions, lower intensity, less of this, until you kind of get a feel. maybe you get a lot of results and you move a lot of fluid out of the legs, but if you've got congestion elsewhere all the way up the trunk and before it's going where it's got to go, you may find that you're just moving it elsewhere because the system is just not capable of handling the volume at that point. So use it more often. Take advantage of the energy boost, the relaxation, the balance. And when you move, lymph moves. So move often. Okay, I'm going to put that to the side. Couple more moves here. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. I am going to get onto a couple of standing ideas. So I'm just going to stop the plate here because I want to change position a little bit. Now, many of you do stand and exercise. Not everybody's dealing with poor mobility and unable to bear weight. But sometimes, seated exercises are just a nice way of, mixing it up. Maybe you're working towards weight bearing, but again, the fatigue gets in the way, or, just maybe your schedule. So I mentioned earlier to some of you in my groups, one of my favorite accessories when you're using a vibration plate, it's not even a therapy, it's a chair. One of these, you don't have to spend a lot of money, but it's a swivel back. I broke the top on the old one long ago and had to replace it. So this is my Franken chair. But you see how it's got that swooped base? It literally fits right underneath the edge of the plate if you want to get it really, really close. And because I work with different users, I like things that adjust in height. And if you are beginning to stand, it's a great tool to have behind you if you do need to sit down, take a break. For those of you that are beginning to stand, okay, we're going to do some calf raises. So as I said, in the world of lymphatics, those calf muscles, they're that second heart for the lymphatic system. And I want you to get comfortable with exercising them regularly. Pump those calves. So for those of you that maybe don't have the balance, or you're just beginning to stand on your plate, you're not doing a lot of fitness yet. Knees are slightly bent. You're not so tall that it's hitting you in the throat. You want to bend enough so you're feeling it kind of just at the collarbone, okay? And we're going to lift calf raise up one, like we're kind of fake walking, but we're not lifting the balls of the feet off of the plate, okay? I want good range of motion and stability in those ankles, okay? If that isn't feeling too challenging, you're feeling okay, let's hold it for a little longer and shift a bit more mass as we lift one side at a time, okay? So it's going to look like this. We're going to lift, shift weight over, hold, 2-3 seconds, come back down. Lift up the other side, shift weight over, just adding a little bit more mass to the equation, one side at a time. You're really going to notice if you got weak spots. Everybody's got a strong side and a weak side. Shift over. Okay. Now, for those of you that do have good stability, if you're using a really small, compact machine, I'm not a big fan of doing lots of exercise positions, especially calf raises or planks on those little machines. They're a great second machine. They're a great seated use machine. But if your goal is to evolve to some real fitness moves at some point, squats, calf raises, I want you to have something with a little mass underneath you supporting your weight, things like that. So there's never the perfect machine. I want you using oscillating movement, but the plate that you select is even if you have to start with something compact, safety first. Just recognize a compact machine is going to be tippier because it's a smaller machine. The amount of movement can feel more intense because the swing is larger. So we're going to have something to hang on to, and we're going to come up on both calves. So we're just going to raise up on the toes, holding ourselves, not hanging on for dear life, but stability, and then come back down. Okay. Things like this. Debbie, when would I ever need to do calf raises? Well, it's more than high-heeled shoes. Again, the stronger the calf muscles are, the more they're going to return that blood, that lymphatic flow without having issues, less neuropathy, all those things. But you know what? Maybe you're short and you got to reach that soup can at the top of the cupboard.
You know, there's all kinds of reasons we engage these muscle groups every day without thinking about it. And your independence, your day-to-day function is also going to be a lot better if you do these functional types of exercises. So, 30 seconds to a minute if you're doing exercises. If that was too challenging for you, you found the ankles were, really supporting you, or you're still fearful, feel free to break that into one side at a time, okay? And then I want you to just spin that chair around now. If you're just using a stool, that's fine. You can do this exercise as well. I want you leaning over. We're going to bring the heels just a little bit closer. We're targeting more the hips and the low back because of our position. I want your legs just undone, not bent, but just undone. And you're going to feel it in this tailbone. It's almost like a standing cat-cow kind of. What I want you to do is now stretch the calves, and we're going to do one side at a time. We're going to lift, hold, 2, 3, other side. If it feels like it's going to like Charlie horse or cramp, maybe you're just lifting and continuing to move. Depends on your range. But this is a great way to not only stretch the calf, but on the leg that you're stretching, it's okay. Lock up that knee for a minute. Get it into the hamstring. Lean into it a bit if it feels good. This is a great way to stretch the back of those leg muscles without doing like a toe touch or something where, maybe that's not something you're ready for. This is also an awesome move just to target the low back and the hips. This is a really common area of congestion. So I really enjoy doing this one for anything like from stretching to just getting movement in the hips to constipation, indigestion. One move isn't necessarily just associated with one set of benefits. It's just one I recommend experimenting with if you're working with a stool. Okay, so we're going to get a little bit meaner now. I know many of you, the whole while we're on this plate, we're moving that lymphatic. But two common questions I get, especially from my ladies, are I want to target my arms and I want to lose some weight. So not everybody can get down on the ground and do push-ups and such things. So the burning of the calories, the boosting of the metabolism, those types of things are very much those quads, the glutes. So from this same position where we were hanging on and doing our calves, and I would like you to practice squats. Squats are going to boost that metabolism. They're going to make you stronger. They're going to make it getting up out of the chair easier, getting in and out of the car easier. Most of you have inflammation, arthritic joints. You don't have to move up and down. Just go to whatever your low point is. We're still working with our feet about hip width apart. I'm at about speed 20, 25. And just hold still till you can't hold still no more. And when you're done and you're dying and you need to take a break, stand up a little bit. Take a break. Maybe lean over a bit. Maybe do some hulas. Maybe some pelvic tilts, whatever you want to do. But do about 2 to 3 honest to goodness reps where you're trying for your range of motion. It's challenging. Things are burning and you got to quit. And if possible, do that early in your day. It's going to elevate your metabolism. Those idle calories are going to be a little bit more. But you'll be very surprised just by practicing that squat if you don't need stability. If you feel stable and you want to mix up the squat, you want to get a little bit more arm movements going, nothing's saying you can't do some moves with the arms. Down. Maybe we're swinging. Whatever feels good. Maybe we're swimming. That's a good one. Big arm circles. Maybe we're swimming to the surface like Ariel. I got a short ceiling, but that's kind of fun. If you don't have good balance, make sure that you've got something close by. And sometimes if you are standing, but you've got, vertigo issues, stability issues, you don't always necessarily need something to hang on to, but it's that peace of mind that something's there should you feel like you need it. Okay, I'm going to move my chair out of the way. And we're going to move into some other things. And if you're working on your squats, You're going to boost that range of motion. You're going to improve things overall. But with the arms, for those of you that maybe can't get down yet on the ground, you're not able to do, let's say, that traditional push-up. I've done a few sessions this week about incorporating mass. I've been playing with the Flex Vest and the new Power Stone and the Power Stone Boulder, which are the awesome new adjustable kettlebells. So these are 5 pounds each. These are the included ankle and or wrist weights that come with Lifepro's new Flex Vest. So for those of you that are able, whether you're seated, whether you're standing, I'm set up as standing, so I'm going to just stay this way for now. But combining ways to improve lymph movement. Okay, so get back to our topic. The plates add lymph. You know, we're doing our squats because it's burning calories and it's engaging more muscles. And, you know, those muscles are contracting, but I want to work my arms. So by adding even just 5 pounds aside to those, you know, arm movements we were talking about, swimming, you know, maybe I'm doing bicep curls, maybe I'm targeting the bat wings and doing some mini rows. You know, just by adding those 5 pounds, guess what? The muscles in the arms are going to get stronger, as is the rest of the equation, because overall the legs and your body is having to bear more mass. I did a few sessions last week about adding mass, and it's a great way where maybe you lack function or maybe you just don't want to just get those muscles working harder in your benefit. And I'm really having fun with these new ones. There is Velcro straps, and I've just been using these as extra arm weights. You know, if you're just starting out, 5 pounds is probably plenty as a starting point. If you're already working out with weights and you've got other things at home and you want to add weights to your plate, yes, of course, if the muscles are working harder, guess what? You're probably going to boost that lymphatic flow even further. You're certainly going to improve strength and bone density overall. The more you require your body to do, the more the muscles and the bones are going to return the favor by building to suit the activity you're asking them to do. If you're asking them to do the bare minimum, they're going to build the bare minimum. So results equal effort to a degree. And if you do lack function, the range of motion isn't there, you've got chronic issues, adding mass is a very simple way to get more results where you can't maybe get functional or as functional as you'd like yet with some of the exercises. So you've been doing your squats. Your range of motion is awesome. You are now ready to sit down on the plate for one of my favorite ways to boost lymphatic and to combine other therapies. So when we're talking on the VIP group or in my group, a lot of times we say, well, you can use the plate seated. And that means something different to everyone depending on where you're at in your range of motion. So we started seated on a stool, but you can also sit directly on the plate. So if you haven't tried this already, you know, is it better for this or that? You know, it's a different way of using the plate. It's a lazy way of using the plate. And, you know, for many of you that you just want to really chill and relax, you know, you really want to accelerate some recovery, maybe work some skin tone directly, sitting on the plate is a different experience for everyone. Depending on the plate that you are on, you may or may not want a mat. I really, unless I've got my elbows or my knees on the plate, I really don't use a mat, but a nice thick yoga mat cut to the size of your plate, if one wasn't included, is really all you need. When I'm sitting, I'm not engaging my muscles in the same way as when I'm doing a squat or a push-up or something of that nature. So I'm just going to sit with my butt dead center. If your feet are wide, you're moving more. If your feet are closer, you're moving less. If you do have head sensitivities, or you have any risks you got to be concerned about, if you just don't like how it feels, just lean forward slightly. And you can hear my voice already. You get rid of 90% of the movement. If you're really, really sensitive and you don't like it at all, but you really like how it feels on the hamstrings, back yourself up till the tailbone is just off the plate. Can you hear the difference in my voice? So now it's hitting me kind of in the back of the knees, which for those of you dealing with lymphatic issues, we all know that's a trouble spot. And it depends on the plate that you're using. Again, the compacts are not the best for laying on and rolling all over the place. Something with a little bit more size and a bit more weight, the Waver, the Mini at least. The Rumblexes are great, of course. So for this one, there's two ways you can do it. You can lean back if your hands are strong enough and you feel comfortable. You could also position the step behind you to give you a little bit more support. Or like I say, just backing that tailbone off the back edge of the plate is going to eliminate 90% of the movement. Now, ways that you can incorporate more upper body movement, more total body, maybe you've got some metal plate in your ankle and you've got to keep that off the plate for now, or maybe you've already done your workout and you just want to do some recovery. Take your hands, palms down, and tuck them just under the thighs. And most of us, our arms are longer than our torsos, so our elbows are naturally bent. Keep that spine nice and straight, and you'll feel a little bit of movement up into the arms, the shoulders. If you want more intensity, you want to go a little bit deeper, slightly just push into the plate, like you're kind of trying to lift your bum up off of it, but you're not. You're just resisting a bit. And you'll feel it now get deeper into the shoulder blades, the top of the shoulders. You could do, again, those neck turns, shoulder rolls, whatever feels good to you. I would suggest on this one, there's really not a whole lot of effort going on. You're only limited by your imagination and your range of motion. You can pretty much massage anywhere below the waist. I'm not set up very good right now, but you can massage the calves. You can massage the tops of the thighs. Many of my ladies do the apron, from the belly button down, the saddlebags on the sides and around through the back. But you're going to need the range of motion to do that. And I have done some, it's not a lymphatic thing necessarily. I've done some total body massage sessions. There's lots of reasons people like to massage. It just happens to be a lazy way to get some lymph going. So with that, I'm going to stand back up and I'm going to see what questions you guys might have. And I'm looking for my sweater because I'm chilly. Oh, there it is. When you're seated down on the machine, when you're seated on the stool, any of these tools can be incorporated. I just want to remind very quickly while you're doing your vibration plate time, but please make sure that you just give your body a period of adjustment. Let's call it to assimilate and get used to that new therapy. And for those of you that are dealing with known lymphatic issues, you've got congestion, you're dealing with problems now, things are compromised, please, please, please be sure that you are prepping and making sure that your system is prepared for the surge of circulation and lymph. And again, for that reason, starting out, or if you're returning, maybe you've taken a long break and you're just getting back to using your plate, keep your sessions brief and more frequent. Let the symptoms dictate when you need a fix, especially that pain, that swelling, that ever-present inflammation. And I hope a few folks have gotten a couple new ideas today. Again, you're only limited by your imagination, your range of motion. This new gun, I'm not only am I enjoying the fact that it's a new movement, it's innovation, it's a change in the industry that really, hasn't been present in some time. But it's so affordable, you guys. Right now, it's 30% off. So check it out if you're in the US. If this gun is as popular as I think it's going to be, I'm sure it won't be long before you see it on Amazon, available in Mexico and other countries. I know many of you are already asking. So who's here with me today? And if you are here with me today, thank you for joining me. If you do have specific questions and you're trying to type to me right now and you think that I'm ignoring you, you don't see your question, make sure that you're on the main Lifepro page. That's where the questions will come through. Don't comment on one of the feeds that I may have shared in the VIP or other groups. So let me see if I have any questions and say hello to who is here. Hello again, Adriana, Lauren. Hello again, Betsy. Nice to see you, Miss Consistency Queen. Hello, Wanda. So nice to see you. Beverly Dawn, how are you? She's easing in 10 minutes a day, 6 standing, 4 sitting on it with my arms on the plate. Love it. You could have done the session today there at the end. Rewa Stack says, wish you all would accept my request to join the VIP club. If you haven't been accepted, sometimes there's a couple reasons. They are extremely busy, and I know they will get to them usually on a weekly basis, but please make sure that you have answered all the questions. There are questions that are required to be accepted. I personally do not work for Lifepro. I am proud to be one of their trainers and ambassadors, but for that behind the scenes kind of stuff, I can't go in and change everything on the Facebook page. So I'll forward your concern, but make sure that Rewa, you have answered all the questions on the VIP group before. That's one of the reasons some folks don't get accepted. Wanda says, I think the new gun would be great if it had red lights along with the vibration. You never know what might happen down the road. Keep in mind, for the price, I don't think you're going to see the red light diodes, especially those new triple chip ones, included anytime soon. But I do think if it is well received by, sometimes when new products come out, until a few people have tried it out and we have these types of conversations, you don't think about how awesome it really is and all the things that it can be used for. So enhancements and improvements are kind of a natural part of the development process. But, without first knowing that the motion itself, the ergonomics of the gun are something we're happy with, it's hard to invest in more product and more production with the red lights, the heat, whatever may come. But I do know where you're going with that. And I think if you stay tuned, you're probably going to see this evolve. Not only this model, but I think you're probably going to see other models. I think the popularity is again, I'm blown away because it's something different. And it's the first innovation I've seen in the massage gun performance characteristics in a really, really long time. So I'm excited about it. And Beverly says, thank you for sharing. My absolute pleasure. Laura says, how long before bedtime should you use the plate? Depends why you want to use it before bedtime. If it's for lymphatics and you're a new user, try about an hour before you go to bed. Don't overdo it. If you have like leg cramps, restless leg, that kind of thing, maybe just even a light little squat or a stretch, depending on where it presents. But keep it minimal. One of the things, and some of my clients can do like a massive full-on workout and go right to sleep. It's not a big deal. But when you're first getting used to it, it can be exhilarating if you do too much. And the last thing I want you doing is laying in bed with your mind wired. And for those of you with lymphatic issues, it's not uncommon to feel like a little bit of an itch, a tingle, creepy crawly, because the lymphatic flow is still going on for a period of time, even though you're lateral. Itchiness is very, very common, or a tingling when you first start out. As things get moving, there's elements of detoxification, neural pathways start improving. There's all kinds of reasons the tingle presents. But if it is very severe, you're breaking out in hives, 3 days later, there is a condition called MCAS, mast cell activation syndrome. Many in the lymphatic community are aware of this, but many are not. And it is a condition that your body kind of pre-releases histamine in response to an increase or sometimes even just a new activity. So it's not so much the vibration plate, but because the vibration plate reduces exercise time while increasing effect of those exercises, you're doing more in less time. So all the more reason, if you are dealing, if that happens to you and you get all tingly or itchy at times when you're being active, you may have MCAS. So be cautious in your durations and your intensity. Again, short, brief, use it more often. I hope that helps. Try that out, Laura. And if you're okay, maybe a half hour before bed, and then maybe 5 minutes before bed. If you have it close to you, and the one of the main reasons people end up with a second little machine is right beside the bed, because you're using it before bed. And as soon as those feet hit the ground first thing in the morning, it's an awesome way to just boost everything else. So something to think about if it's close by. Maybe give it a shot first thing in the morning when you get up to. Hello, Barb. You are more than welcome. Hello, Janet. I appreciate you being here. This is awesome. I'm going to post a few more links in the comments. I did post some information in the event. And for those of you that are dealing with lymphatic issues, again, prep before activity, other therapies, be consistent in whatever therapies it is that you're doing. Combining therapies is a great way to, dust off some of that stuff maybe you're not using. But it's a great way to accelerate effects while reducing self-care time. For those of you that, it is a drag and you got to do this in that order or what have you, get creative, be curious. There's lots of ways that you can combine some of these treatments to get more optimal outcomes without being this big, long commitment you have to do all the time. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me directly. Just tag me at Debby with a Y. If you're watching this on a recorded basis, thank you for being here. And same goes, just tag me and I'll get a notification for sure if you had something that you wanted to ask me. Sometimes I can ramble so much that I've just lost you and you're falling asleep at the wheel. So sorry for my ramblings. I'm very passionate about the benefits of vibration plates. In particular, I am an advocate in the lipedema, lymphedema, Durkheim's disease, fat disorders community. Many of you are probably joining me from some of my private groups. So thank you for joining me tonight. Consistency is the key, guys. It starts with you. I can't make you do it. I can only hope to motivate you. And 30% off almost site-wide with Lifepro right now. So there's some good deals happening on all the tools that I've used today. If there's anything that you have been checking out, I recommend hopping over to Lifepro Direct and just checking out some of the fall sale deals. I look forward to seeing you guys next week for something new and exciting. And of course, next Saturday is my first Saturday of the month, vibration plate crash course. I'll drop some details here this week on that. I look forward to joining you, whether you're new or you just need a butt kick and some accountability. I look forward to seeing many of you next Saturday. Don't work too hard, and I look forward to seeing you guys again soon.